The Cessna 152 is an American two-seat, fixed tricycle gear, general aviation airplane, used primarily for flight training and personal use. It was based on the earlier Cessna 150, including a number of minor design changes and a slightly more powerful engine running on 100 aviation gasoline. Development. First delivered in 1977 as the 1978 model year, the 152 was a modernization of the proven Cessna 150 design. The 152 was intended to compete with the new Beechcraft Skipper and Piper Tomahawk, both of which were introduced the same year. Additional design goals were to improve useful load through a gross weight increase to 1,670 pounds, decrease internal and external noise levels and run better on the then newly introduced 100 fuel. As with the 150, the great majority of 152s were built at the Cessna factory in Wichita, Kansas. A number of aircraft were also built by Reims Aviation of France and given the designation F-152/FA-152. Production of the 152 was ended in 1985 when Cessna ended production of all of their light aircraft. By that time, a total of 7,584 examples of the 152, including A-152 and FA-152 aerobatic variants, had been built worldwide. In 2007 Cessna announced that it would build a light sports successor, designated the Model 162 Skycatcher, although production ended in 2013. Design =powerplant =, all Cessna 152s were manufactured with a Lycoming 0235 engine. The Lycoming provided not only an increase in engine power over the Cessna 150, but also was more compatible with the newer 100 low-lead fuel. Cessna 152s produced between 1977 and 1982 were equipped with Lycoming 0235 L2C engines producing 110 horsepower at 2550 rpms. This engine still suffered some lead fouling problems in service and was succeeded in 1983 by the 108 horsepower 0235 N2C, which featured a different piston design and a redesigned combustion chamber to reduce this problem. The N2C engine was used until 152 production ended in 1985. Airframe. The airframe is mainly of metal construction, being primarily of 2024 T3 aluminum alloy with riveted skin. Components such as wingtips and fairings are made from glass-reinforced plastic. The fuselage is a semi-monocoque with vertical bulkheads and frames joined by longerons running the length of the fuselage. The wings are of a strut-braced design and have a 1-degree dihedral angle. The tapered portion of each wing has 1 degree of washout. This allows greater aileron effectiveness during a stall. Flying controls. Dual controls are available as optional equipment on the Cessna 152 and almost all 152s have this option installed. The Cessna 152 is equipped with differential ailerons that move through 20 degrees upwards and 15 degrees downwards. It has single-slotted flaps which are electrically operated and deployed to a maximum of 30 degrees. The rudder can move 23 degrees to either side and is fitted with a ground-adjustable trim tab. The elevators move up through 25 degrees and down through 18 degrees. An adjustable trim tab is installed on the right elevator and is controlled by a small wheel in the center of the control console. The trim tab moves 10 degrees up and 20 degrees down relative to the elevator chordline. Landing gear. The Cessna 152 is equipped with fixed tricycle landing gear. The main gear has tubular steel legs surrounded by a full-length fairing with a step for access to the cabin. The main gear has a 7 feet 7 in wheelbase. The nose wheel is connected to the engine mount and has an alleo strut to dampen and absorb normal operating loads. The nose wheel is steerable through 8 degrees either side of neutral and can caster under differential braking up to 30 degrees. It is connected to the rudder pedals through a spring linkage. The braking system consists of single-disc brake assemblies fitted to the main gear and operated by a hydraulic system. Brakes are operated by pushing on the top portion of the rudder pedals. It is possible to use differential braking when taxiing, and this allows very tight turns to be made. The 152 is also fitted with a parking brake system. It is applied by depressing both toe brakes and then pulling the park brake lever to the pilot unregistered trademark S left. The toe brakes are then released but pressure is maintained in the system, thereby leaving both brakes engaged. The standard tires used are 600x6 on the main gear and 500x5 on the nose wheel. Modifications There are hundreds of modifications available for the Cessna 152. The most frequently installed include tailwheel landing gear, tail dragger conversions such as the Texas tail dragger conversion are available and have been fitted to some 152s. It involves strengthening the fuselage for the main gear being moved further forward, removing the nose wheel and strengthening the tail area for the tail wheel. This greatly improves short field performance and is claimed to give up to a 10 km cruise speed increase. STOL kits. The wings can be modified using a number of STOL modification kits, some improving high-speed cruise performance but most concentrating on STOL performance. Horton's STOL kit is one of the better known of the latter. It involves fitting a more cambered leading edge cuff to increase the maximum coefficient of lift, fitting fences at the aileron flap intersection and fitting drooped wingtips. Stalls with these modifications are almost off the airspeed indicator, since instrument error is high at high angles of attack. It has been said that landings can be achieved in 2 fuselage lengths with the kit installed in addition to a tail dragger modification, by balancing power against drag. Takeoff performance is also improved by varying degrees depending on the surface. Engine. The engine's power can be increased by various modifications, such as the Sparrowhawk power package, increasing it to 125 horsepower. The disadvantage of the Sparrowhawk conversion is that it uses pistons from the 0235F series engine and therefore the engine recommended time between overhaul is reduced from 2,400 hours to 2,000 hours. Other popular modifications include flap gap seals to reduce drag and increase rate of climb. Different wingtips, some of which claim various cruise speed increases and stall speed reductions. Auto fuel STCs, which permit the use of automobile fuel instead of the more expensive aviation fuel. Auxiliary fuel tanks for greater range. Door catches to replace the factory ones that often fail in service. Belly fuel drain valves to drain fuel from the lowest point in the fuel system. Variants. 152, 2-seat light touring aircraft, fitted with a fixed tricycle landing gear, powered by a 110 horsepower Lycoming 0235L 2C piston engine, 6628 built. Available with a number of avionic options, aside from the standard Model 152 there was a 152-2 with an enhanced package of standard avionics and trim features. The 152-2 with NavPack included more standard avionics for IFR use. The 152T was a standard option package for use by flying schools, the T indicating trainer, and not a sub-model. Type approved in 1977 and produced as 1978 to 1985 model years. A152 Aerobat, 2-seat aerobatic-capable aircraft, 315 built. Certified for +6/-3 GS and had standard 4-point harnesses, skylights and jettisonable doors, along with a checkerboard paint scheme and removable seat cushions to allow parachutes to be worn by the crew. Type approved in 1977 and produced as 1978 to 1985 model years. The following aerobatic maneuvers are approved: chandelles, steep turns, barrel rolls, snap rolls, loops, vertical reversements, lazy eights, spins, aileron rolls, Immelmann turns, Cuban eights and stalls. F-152, Reims built Model 152, 552 built. FA-152 Aerobat, Reims built Model A-152, 89 built. Operators. Civilian operators equals, the 152 is popular with flight training organizations and is also widely operated by private individuals. Military operators equals. Argentina. Argentine National Gendarmerie operated 3 from 2004. Bangladesh. Bangladesh Army 4A-152 Aerobat procured in 1982, Botswana, Botswana Defence Force Air Wing 2A-152, Gabon, Gabonese Air Force 1 F-152, Lesotho, Lesotho Defence Force 1A-152, Mexico, Mexican Navy operated 7 from 1979. Incidents and accidents. On May 9, 1989, a man who had murdered his ex-wife earlier that evening stole a Cessna 152T at gunpoint from an employee at Beverly Municipal Airport. During the flight, which lasted over 3 hours, Alfred James Hunter III fired an assault rifle at the ground below, buzzed the South Postal Annex in Boston several times, and briefly touched down at Logan International Airport before taking off again. He was arrested when he finally landed with just 5 minutes worth of fuel remaining. On May 24, 2001, a Cessna 152 violated Israeli airspace and was shot down by an IDAF AH-64 Apache. A Stefan Nikolian, a Lebanese student pilot, was shot down after ignoring repeated warnings by Israeli ATC to turn back. This is the only known operational air-to-air kill using an AGM-114 Hellfire missile. Specifications. Data from Cessna 152 Pilot's Operating Handbook, General Characteristics, Crew, 1 pilot, Capacity, 1 passenger, Length, 24 feet 1 inch, Wingspan, 33 feet 4 in, Height, 8 feet 6 in, Wing Area, 160 FTA squared, Empty weight, 1,081 pounds, Max takeoff weight, 1,670 pounds, Power plant, 1 Lycoming 0235L2C flat 4 engine, 110 horsepower driving a 69-inch, 2-blade, fixed-pitch Macaulay propeller or a 72-inch, 2-blade, fixed-pitch Sentinel propeller, performance. Maximum speed, 126 miles per hour, cruise speed, 123 miles per hour, stall speed, 49 miles per hour unpowered, flaps down, takeoff roll, 725 feet, range, 477 miles, extended range 795 miles with long-range tanks, service ceiling, 14,700 feet, rate of climb, 715 feet per minute, max. Wing loading, 10.44 pounds FTA squared, minimum power mass, 0.066 horsepower per pound. See also. Related development, Cessna 140, Cessna 150, Cessna 162, Cessna 172, aircraft of comparable role, configuration and era, Alpha 2000, Beechcraft Skipper, Diamond DA-20, Grumman American AA-1, Liberty XL-2, Piper Tomahawk, Symphony SA-160, related lists, list of aircraft, list of civil aircraft, list of most produced aircraft. References. Andrade, John. U.S. military aircraft designations and serials since 1909. Midland Countries Publications. ISBN 0-904597-22-9. Simpson, R.W. Airlife's General Aviation. England, UK, Airlife Publishing. ISBN 1-85310-194-X. External links, Cessna 150 and 152 page on airliners.net, Cessna 152 Aerobat, Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum. Cessna 150/152 Model History, Cessna 150, the generic trainer.